everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today. So today's video, I'm going to do a get ready with me. This was actually a subscriber request. Someone had asked me, let me pull it up. Monica asked if I could actually do a video where I try all of the products that I recently spoke about in my top 10 under $10 at Ulta video, if I can use all of those products on camera. So that is what we're going to be doing today. Your wish is my command. So let's go ahead and get started. So for primer, because I have some categories, it's only 10 products, right? So I'm going to have some products that I can, that are going to be in that category, and some I just kind of had to fill in. So primer is definitely one of those. So I'm going to be using just this little sample that I got from Tarte, and this is the Tarte Glotion. This is a just kind of like glowy primer, and I'm using a pretty mattifying foundation today. So I wanted to have something a little bit more hydrating underneath. Okay, so this is actually one of the first products that I mentioned in the video. This is the NYX Bear With Me Prime, Set, and Refresh Multitasking Spray. I love this stuff. I use it for priming. I use it for just kind of like throughout the makeup. So let's go ahead and prime the skin with this. I just love how that setting spray definitely adds some hydration to the skin. And definitely that primer really did give my skin a really nice glow. So for foundation, this is definitely an Emily Noel made me buy it type purchase. This is from CoverGirl. This is the CoverGirl Outlast Extreme Wear Foundation. I picked this one up from Walmart, and the shade did not work for me. So whenever I went to Target last night, I actually saw this and it was on sale, and it wasn't expired or anything, but it did look like a better shade match for me. So I went ahead and picked this one up. So we'll see how this works with my skin. I have the shade Creamy Natural. So let's go ahead and start blending this onto the skin. Okay, so I think this CoverGirl foundation looks pretty good. Definitely kind of evened up the complexion. My next product that is under $10 at Ulta that is absolutely amazing is my Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer. I do have the shade C4. I highly recommend this concealer. It's going to give you really decent coverage, but I love the formula of this concealer. It's really nice and creamy. The coverage is definitely buildable, and it's very, very easy to blend out. I've noticed that I don't lose any coverage whenever I blend it out with a sponge, which is my, main go-to when it comes to applying my makeup. And so this is definitely just a very beautiful concealer. I want to say this concealer is like $7 or $8. I go over prices and everything in that video, and I will obviously have that video linked down below. But this is just such an amazing concealer, and you could probably see the difference as to how my under eyes looked and how they look now. All right, so now let's get into some cream product. So I do have a cream bronzer that I spoke about in that video. This cream bronzer is only $8. It's from Makeup Revolution once again, and this is their cream bronzer. It's their ultra cream bronzer, and I do have the shade Light. This is just chef's kiss, such a beautiful, beautiful cream highlight. Honestly, I cannot get over how affordable this cream bronzer is. It blends out like a dream. I would definitely consider this to be pretty beginner friendly, because while it is pigmented, as you can see, ooh, I applied actually a lot. It really does, you'll see, it really does blend out really easily. I don't have any issues with it just kind of sticking to where I first apply it. It blends out really easily. I mean, you can see how just absolutely stunning that looks on the skin. So this being only $8, and I've already seen it go on sale, so you can pick it up for literally maybe $6. I highly recommend. I also forgot to mention there is a little bit of a scent to this cream bronzer. It definitely kind of smells like a pina colada, kind of like coconutty. So if you don't care for scents, I don't think it's strong enough so that I don't smell it throughout the day. I don't smell, I don't feel like it's an overwhelming type of scent, but it does have a little bit of a scent to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set my face off camera. I'm gonna be using my L'Oreal Hydra Perfect setting powder, and then we'll move on to blush. All right, so now for blush, I do have a product that I spoke about in the video, and that is the Wet n Wild Color Icon blushes. I do have the older packaging. They have since updated the packaging. It's more round, but I have the shade Mellow Wine. This blush is one of my favorites. It's been a favorite of mine for a really long time. You could honestly check out my favorites videos from years back, and I talked about this blush because I have just loved it for such a long time. At first, it had been a while that I had used it, and then I used it again and I didn't care for it, but then I had it in my Shop My Stash and I just loved it all over again. So sometimes makeup is kind of weird, especially if maybe your skin is acting up, maybe you have more texture or something like that. Makeup products can definitely apply differently on some days, on some foundations, things like that. But the last time it was in my Shop My Stash, I just gravitated towards it so much. I feel like the shade Mellow Wine is just that perfect kind of like sunburnt kind of look. Really nice for summer in my opinion. Also fall too, because it's a little bit more of like a terracotta, which is really nice. So love that one. You guys will have to tell me if you have the newer updated packaging, if it's the same formula. I've thought about just repurchasing it, but I have that one and it performs well. So, okay. The other product, again, from Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild has a ton of really great affordable products. That blush, I want to say, is like under $6, but this is one of their highlighters. This is the Mega Glow highlighting powder, and I have the shade Precious Petals. It's this really nice kind of peachy champagne color, and this is such a beautiful blush formula. It is so smooth on the skin. The color is absolutely beautiful, and I just can't believe that this is such an affordable highlighter because of just how stunning it is. And I recently picked this up. This is not older within my collection. I recently picked it up from Ulta and just kind of rediscovered it, and it's just absolutely stunning. All right, now let's get into brows. So for brows, I had two products that I talked about in that video. So for brow pencil, it's this one. This is again from Wet n Wild. And this is the retractable brow pencil in the shade Medium Brown. So as I've mentioned before, this one has more of that triangular tip to it, and then of course there's a spoolie on the other side. I've really been enjoying these pencils that have the triangular tip to them because they really do get the job done so quickly, and I have come to learn to appreciate that. Brows are not my favorite part of the makeup application process, and so anytime that I can save or cut, if you will, to just get this out of the way, I am going to be appreciative of that. So let me go ahead and just fill these in, and then I have a brow gel to share with you. Okay, so here's what the brows look like. Definitely a little intense, so if you don't care for them to be this bold, obviously you can edit that down a little bit, but I just love, again, how quickly I'm able to get that done. So I do have a brow glue or a brow gel. This is the NYX The Brow Glue. I want to take these out already. I really enjoy this brow gel. So this just keeps my brow hairs in place all day long. Some of my best brow days are whenever I use this. It has a teeny tiny spoolie here, so I definitely am able to just kind of fully get in there. And some people do not care for this brow gel because it maybe weighs their hairs down. I don't experience that, but that is the case with some people. It's definitely pretty saturated with product like the spoolie, but I don't know. I try to just be a little bit careful and mindful when applying it. Okay, see, that was like too much. So I can just go in with like my regular like brow pencil spoolie and just kind of, I don't know, disperse the product a little bit more. But I just really like the way that it makes my brow hairs look. I can't explain it. Like, I don't know if you can see it. It's definitely a little wet. I definitely had a lot on the spoolie here, but I don't know, it kind of brushes them up really nicely. It kind of gives them that laminated look. So I really recommend this from NYX. So I did have to go and charge my battery for my camera. So my makeup has definitely been sitting a while already, but let's go in with eyeshadow. So I did already prime with my MAC Paint Pot in the shade Painterly, and I mentioned Wet n Wild eyeshadow palettes. So I have a couple. I have two of the 10 pan palettes. I have Nude Awakening, and then this one right here, which is Lights Off. This is more of a cool toned color story. And then I do have a couple of their 5 pan palettes as well. These are very affordable. The 10 pan is still under $10. I want to say these are about $6. And then the 5 pans are, I think, underneath $5. So they're definitely very affordable. So I am wearing gray, so I wanted to kind of play around with some cool tones with this palette. And I haven't used this palette a whole lot, and so I wanted to just kind of get some more use out of it. So let's go in with this gray shade right here. This is a matte gray, and I tend to have really good luck with these Wet n Wild palettes. I know that, you know, some people do not prefer the Wet n Wild eyeshadow formula, but I have never had any issues. I actually think it's really, really good. Of course, it's going to feel kind of like a drugstore, you know, formula. Like, it's not like I'm not comparing it to a higher end formula by any means, but for a palette that's, I mean, literally underneath $10, underneath $8, I think that that's really good. So this is blending out very easily, no issues here. I don't want too dark of a look, but there's that. So let's go ahead and do it to the other eye. But my favorite is definitely Nude Awakening. I really, really enjoy that one from Wet n Wild. That's one of the 10 pans as well. A perfect everyday color story, good for work, good for just quick, easy, neutral, simple looks. And again, I think the formula is really good. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and just deepen up the crease a little bit. I'm gonna do something really simple, real easy. That's just kind of how I roll. That's kind of the style that I gravitate towards. I'm gonna go in with this deep brown shade right here and deepen up the crease. And Wet n Wild's mattes are definitely a little dry. They're not super creamy, but I don't notice any issues when it comes to blending. Because they are much drier, I kind of was worried that they would become patchy or that they wouldn't blend out, but I actually have never experienced any issues, which is good. So I'm not going too crazy with this shade. I'm just wanting to build a little bit of depth in the outer corner, and I think that looks pretty good. I feel like it's so dark in here. I'm having a hard time like seeing exactly. I think that's good. All right, let's do the other eye. All right, perfect. Now let's go in with another item that I talked about in that video. And I'm really excited that I mentioned it and that I'm actually like featuring it as a thing. This is my NYX glitter primer. I use this all of the time in my Get Ready With Me's. You guys probably know that. You're probably sick of me mentioning it. This is just, here I go again. This is just the best way to really make shimmer shades pop. How I do it, I don't really show it on camera, but I just squeeze a little bit on the back of my hand here, and I really just take my finger and just apply it on the blank space on my lid. And honestly, I kind of have to like switch fingers just to kind of really just, you know, disperse the product evenly so that it's not too much in one spot, and this tends to work out really well for me. In case you're curious, sometimes the glitter primer can get in the way of the of creasing. Like sometimes it can impact creasing, but that doesn't bother me a lot. I would rather have a shimmer shade that's going to pop and look foiled and completely metallic than one that's like lackluster if it's going to have a little bit of creasing. Like I'm okay with that. That doesn't really bother me. My eyelids naturally crease, so I feel like that's bound to happen. I'm going to go in with this really beautiful kind of gray color right here. It's like this really nice silver metallic shade, and I always just use my finger. Here's what that shade looks like. It is so pretty. I always just use my finger with shimmer shades, and because I already have that NYX glitter primer down, it really does kind of bring the shimmer shade to life because it's gonna automatically just stick to it. It's very nice for especially shadows like this where maybe they're a little bit drier. I feel like it just works wonders. So pretty. Love this shade. I'm so glad that I decided to use this palette. I could have easily gone in with Nude Awakening, but I wanted to use this one because it was cool toned and I'm wearing a gray shirt, so. All right, so here is what that eye look is looking like. Very pretty. I love that. That is so stunning. All right, so I'm gonna go in with some mascara. I'm gonna use my Tarte Man-Eater mascara, and I will be right back to finish off with the lips. All right, so here is what the look is looking like with mascara. Really beautiful. Now let's go in with a lip gloss, and this is one of the lip glosses that I mentioned. This is from the NYX This Is Milky line, and this is the shade Cherry Skimmed. This is really beautiful. It's a really nice, just kind of, I don't know, a My Lips But Better shade. Really beautiful, and just something real simple for this makeup look, and let's go ahead and apply it. These glosses are so comfortable. They're non-sticky. So here is what the shade Cherry Skimmed looks like. Really pretty. All right, so now I want to spray my face because I did go in with that more mattifying foundation, and I didn't mention this in that video. However, I love this. This is my Makeup Revolution Fix and Glow Dewy Finish with Shimmer Particles Setting Spray. I do have to shake it. There's a little agitator in there, and this also smells absolutely divine. God, I love the way that smells, and honestly, I just love the way that that spray makes my complexion look. All right, so that is the completed look. Here is the eye look completed using a less than $10 eyeshadow palette. I think that it looks really good for, honestly, not just for the price, but just for how affordable these products are. So thank you so much to Monica, one of my subscribers that went ahead and recommended this video idea. I had a lot of fun, and I'm really glad that I was able to kind of follow up on my word, not just talk about how good these products are, but actually use them, actually apply them on camera so that you guys can also experience and see how much I love these products, how good these products are. So also, if you have any other video suggestions, please feel free to leave them down below. If you have any makeup that's under $10 that you recommend to me, please feel free to leave those recommendations down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, I would love for you to subscribe and be a part of my YouTube channel family here. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye!